Hey everyone, welcome to The Zest, the official podcast for Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guest is the president and partner of the women's fashion brand Z Supply. Prior to that, she created the brand Amuse Society and has designed for companies including Quiksilver, Billabong, and Volcom. Thank you so much for being here today, Mandy Fry.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Actually, so when I was researching you, I came across that you are also the co-founder and advisor for Warm Collective.
Yeah, my girlfriend Serena, we've known each other for a long time. I've loved supporting her, and we actually have a collaboration coming out next month.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. I've been to 2 pop-ups there for my friend Kiana's brand Shop Abode.
Oh yeah.
So I love going there every time. It's like the best energy there. I always buy so many things when I'm there.
No, she's got a great crew of girls, and
she really does. Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out the Shop Abode pop-ups at Warm Collective. And also, side note, I am wearing Z Supply pajama bottoms underneath this. So
okay. Well, thank you.
So, as I mentioned, you've worked for so many different Orange County-based brands. Did you grow up here too?
No, I didn't. I actually grew up all over the United States. My dad was with IBM, so we were always moving. And I landed for high school in Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
And I only lived there for 4 years. But as soon as I figured out my way to California, I got out of there at 18 and drove cross country and came to California.
Wow, that's incredible. And mentioning that that your dad worked at IBM, I read that he instilled an incredible work ethic in you. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, he was an executive at IBM for about 30 years. So watching him really move up the ladder there and really understand what it means to work in just such a huge organization with, all of the politics and the ups and the downs, and especially through the 80s and early 90s when there was a lot happening with IBM, pre-Apple. And yes, he was always my mentor, business mentor, and just really instilled in me that what I believe today and what I tell my team, and some of them think I'm a little bit old school, but my dad and I, we just believed in head down, work hard, and put the time in. And things take time, and things take a lot of effort, and they don't come easily. So been having my head down for about 25 years here.
That's incredible. When did you start showing an interest in fashion and design?
In high school, I was flipping through 17 magazine, and I saw this little postcard that said FIDM. It was pre-internet, to be honest. And
wow.
I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get to California, and I'm going to this school, FIDM. And so when I drove cross country, I figured out where it was in LA and started doing my interviews, and I just dove in. At that time, I was pretty naive. I thought I wanted to be a buyer, a merchandiser. I wasn't really sure what the opportunities were, but one of the staff at the school actually is the one that said to me, you should think about getting into design. So that's when I switched my major over to design, and all is history from there.
Wow. Did she see something in you that encouraged her to tell you to do design?
Yeah, I think, how I see with my employees, you really can spot those who have an eye and a natural aesthetic, a natural ability to be creative. Whether you're the perfect illustrator or not, someone who can really sketch well or someone who can just get their ideas across on paper is kind of the secondary. The primary is really finding someone who truly deep down in their blood has that natural ability and that natural aesthetic, and has creativity already going through them. And I think she saw that in me before I even saw it in myself.
How long were you at FIDM for?
I did a 3-year program, and then one of my girlfriends, I was working 3 jobs all the way through.
Oh my God.
And about killing myself. It was, talk about hard work. But one of my best friends still to this day, she mentioned to me that you should look at a job at Quiksilver, where Roxy was hiring for a swim assistant. So I found my way into getting an interview there, and I got hired on the spot. And I said,
oh my God,
I got to just take this and run with it. And I stayed 6 years and worked under Leslie Tobia, who still today is one of my great mentors. And she taught me everything I know about swim early on, and had a great ride before going to Billabong, where they were starting, where they had women's board shorts and t-shirts, but they didn't have anything else. And they wanted to start swim. They were just importing some swim from Australia, Billabong. So they asked if I would come over from Quiksilver and start the swim division for Billabong. So
wow.
Very naive in my late 20s, and came over, figured out how to set up a department and hire the team and find the factories overseas. And we started doing swim. And after 3 years of doing swim for Billabong, I got promoted to creative director. And for the next decade, really worked on building Billabong and implementing things that they never dreamed of, as far as could we ever do dresses and fur coats and, things that the line started evolving into that really wasn't what the men's side of the business expected. It was board shorts and t-shirts, but we started having a lot of fun. And at retail, it was that time in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s where we just started taking over more floor space. And women's was 10% of the floor space at retail. And then all of a sudden it was 20 and then 30. And then all of a sudden half the store was women's. So it was a great time to be part of the surf industry.
It's crazy to think like I've been buying your designs my entire life. Yeah. Because I wore Roxy probably around that time. And also, what an incredible job to get right out of college.
Yes. I felt very lucky. Yes.
Yeah. I interned at Quiksilver in 2013.
Oh,
and I remember and I worked with Kristen Gooding. She was marketing. Yeah. But I remember like there was like ping pong playing going on, like skating through the office and like beer on tap. What were some of your fondest memories of working there?
At Quiksilver, it was kind of like where we were all getting our college degrees. It was a lot of employees at that time. It was a huge campus. We'd see our friends in the hallway. We'd have lunch at the little restaurant that they had inside the building.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. And we Kelly Slater would be walking through the hallway and it felt very normal. All the amazing surfers of that time were all a part of Quiksilver, it seemed like. And it was just a really amazing time to grow up in the industry. And it was a great first job, and to stay 6 years and to really feel like immersed in it and to see the growth that we had during that time. It was a lot of fun. So I think I get my high off of riding those waves of growth, and was able to do that at Quiksilver and then at Billabong and then building Amuse, and now at Z Supply. Anything I can grow, I have a fun time with.
Yeah. And for Billabong, what did that job? So you kind of explained that you expanded that entire women's line. How did you approach that? That sounds so intimidating.
Yeah. I was doing swim, as I mentioned, and this design director who had been there since day one, she was retiring. So the CEO, Paul Nade, he called me upstairs and said, let's have you move into being the creative director. And at the time, I, just like a lot of things in life, you're like, I don't have the experience. I don't know if I can do that. I'm not prepared. And he's like, you'll figure it out. And so jumping into women's and having not really done clothing before, I was really swim specific. I started thinking, okay, could we do dresses? Could we do fur coats? And so I started working on it with my design team and bringing it to the sales team and to the CEO, and the doors kept opening. They just said, why not? Let's try. Why not? Yeah. So I started implementing all categories, jackets and sweaters. And we started a line called Designer's Closet at the time, which had a lot of novelty and a lot of like a little bit of higher price point, but a lot more novelty than the main line. And it was so fun. And the retailers just kept saying yes. And I think I'd like to say we pioneered that moment in time for women's surf apparel, beach lifestyle apparel, because we started seeing a lot of the other brands get on board with adding dresses, and dresses is a huge category for Billabong women's. And we started seeing the other brands being able to add that too. So that's why the floor space at retail started becoming more and more and taking over men's.
Wow. I can literally like picture the Billabong section at Jack's Girls.
Oh yeah.
With the fur coats and everything.
Which location?
The Jack's Girls, like downtown in Huntington on PCH in Maine. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Now Z Supply's in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's so many boutiques I've been to recently that have Z Supply. Shop Common Thread is one of them, I think.
Yes. I love Stephanie. She's the owner there. And they're a great partner with us. We love them.
Oh, that's awesome. So in 2013, you became vice president of Volcom's women division. And a year later, you co-founded Amuse Society. How did it feel to make the jump to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So when I left Billabong, it was because they were being bought by Oak Tree, and I'd been there a long time, and it was time to make that change. And Volcom was in need of someone to come in and rebuild their women's business. At the time, I definitely knew I was going to start Amuse Society. I was already in discussions and talking about the idea of the brand. So I knew I just had a very short window, but I told Volcom I'd come for a year. And I really everyone was very confused by that. I'm like, why are you going to Volcom? Like, I don't understand. It doesn't seem like your aesthetic. But at the time they were owned by Kering, which is the luxury group out of Paris who owns Gucci and all the other labels. And I saw it as an opportunity to really see another side of the business that I probably wouldn't see elsewise. So got in there and started rebuilding the women's piece of the business. And it was really exciting because the CEO of Kering was coming from Paris over to Costa Mesa, and we put him on garage, and I was doing design meetings with him and presentations. And then I was flying to Paris, and they invited me to the runway shows. I got to meet Anna Wintour, you know. It was just a rad experience and something I knew I wouldn't get, in any other time in my career if I was going to stay in Orange County.
Right.
And, so I did that. And in the background, towards the end, I was really revving up Amuse Society and wanting to really take that and see it to fruition. So partnered with my friend Summer Rapp, and we launched Amuse Society in January of 2014. And it was an amazing ride. Loved it. Loved everything about it. Hadn't had the chance before to build something from the ground up, from scratch. So we grew rather quickly over the next 5 years and went global into 30 plus countries, and had a really amazing time. Had a great team. It was just a team of 12 of us.
What?
Doing the design, the marketing, the website, the social, and operations was done out of a company called Stokehouse, which was our other partner, Paul Nadet. And it was a great time. Loved it, and hope I get to do it again someday.
Yeah, me too. I literally remember there was a boutique called Luna Boutique around the corner from where I grew up. Yeah. And my friends and I would go there all the time and just go to the Amuse Society section.
Oh yeah, we had a sign in there.
Yeah. And we loved it. It was kind of like a more elevated beach brand with a little bit of edge to it. What kind of inspired you for the different designs?
Yes, I think at that time in my career and in Summer's career, we were really recognizing the sea of sameness in the women's beach lifestyle sector. A lot of the brands, we started all kind of melding and looking like one another. Yeah. And so we were ready to do something that felt a little bit maybe older, a little bit more sophisticated, less junior, things that we wanted to wear, things that we dreamt about taking with us on vacation. We did swim, but we wanted to do it not bright and happy. We wanted to do it with taupes and blacks and more sophisticated colors. We wanted to do wet neoprene because we both like to get out in the water, and we wanted to do neoprene, but we wanted to do it in a more sophisticated way. So it was just the idea of doing something that wasn't happening in the industry at the time at a really attainable price point. And that was, I think, our key to success.
Definitely. What were some of the challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur?
Well, it's just so much that has to be done in a very short amount of time, right? Finding your talent. I think that's always a big one, is finding the right talent at the right time for your budget. That was a challenge, but we ended up really, I think, finding some amazing people that a couple of them still work for me today.
Wow.
And building a website from scratch, that's not easy. Something that you want, to be unique and not just your typical Shopify setup, something that was, an experience to shop on. So put a lot of time and effort into that. And then building product that didn't have high minimums, so, we were starting out. So we needed to partner with factories and relationships that we'd had for a long time, but we needed them to do it not at the scale that they were used to with some of our other brands that we'd been a part of. So, factory and importing and getting it at the right price, at the right time, getting it on time. So all of it, it's a lot. I always say for women who want to start, a new brand, it's possible. It just takes a lot of financial support. And it takes a lot of effort from a lot of different people and sides coming in to make it come together. I think what some people who are starting a brand, they're really good at one side, but not the other. So it always feels a little lopsided. Maybe they're really good at D2C, but they have no wholesale experience. Things like that, or they're really good at building product, but they're not good at finding the sales team, So, but between the three of us, our partnership, we each had individual strengths and relationships. And so I think that was the real key ingredient. So,
yeah. And then you ended up taking a year off from Amuse Society. Tell me about that.
Yes, best year of my life. Honestly. I tell all the moms that work for me today that I wish all of them could have a year break. I had been going hard for many, many years. Wow. And at that time I had a kindergartner and a second grader. Oh. And it was the end of 2018. And it was just time to just get off of the wheel and have some time at home and really feel grounded and feel like a mom. So I'd had a nanny for 8 years, and it was time to move on from having a full-time nanny running the house. And I just wanted to be back in charge of my home and my children. And I wanted to just figure out what my next step was, because I was going hard for way too long. And sometimes you just have to realize that it's not sustainable.
Right.
And so it was a great moment in time. It was about 365 days of being a full-time mom and being able to stop and reflect and really figure out what I wanted to do next. Part of me really thought I was retiring.
Oh, wow.
And going to be done. But my husband often reminded me every time I'd come back from a meeting, I would hire a babysitter so I could go to a meeting to talk to somebody about starting another brand. And in my late nights, I was building brand books for, future brands that I wanted to launch.
Wow.
So my husband was like, "You're not retiring. You can't stop."
Yeah, right.
But whole time, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, you go.
But the whole time, Z Supplied, the two partners, Greg and John, who are now my partners today, they're the founders of Z Supply. And that whole year, they just kept calling and saying, "We really want you to come in and take it over." And I just kept saying, "I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I know it's going to be a huge project. I'm not saying never, but I'm saying not right now." And they were like, "Okay, we'll call you in a month." And they just kept pursuing me. And I even drove up to Carmel with my family, where Greg, one of our partners, he lives up there. And so
wow, nice.
I had my family interview him. We went to Vegas to the project trade show to really see the booth and really suss it out and meet the rep. So I definitely did my due diligence, and he was smart. He let me look under the hood per se for the brand. He really let me get into the books and really understand the health of the company. Before I even thought about coming in full time. So 2019, it was July of 2019, we decided that we would form a partnership. So the three of us are partners. I came in as president, and Greg got to retire, which is what he really wanted to do. Oh, wow. So he now lives in Carmel. He's involved in the business way above the trees, and guiding my shoulders on the financial end of it. But I'm here running the daily across the entire company and having a blast. I love it.
Great. What was your vision for the brand, and how have you kind of shaped it since you started?
Yes. So when I came on, they were just doing knit t-shirts, and they had been founded on one t-shirt, which is the pocket V-neck, which is still our number one style today.
Wow.
All wholesale and across all e-com. And they really just had knit t-shirts, and I wasn't interested in doing an item business. I'm more interested in doing a full 360 brand. I'm interested in creating more of a brand and not an item business where you feel like you're part of a lifestyle. So over the last almost 4 years now, it'll be 4 years in July, we've launched 8 new categories. We've added dresses and jackets and sweaters, and we started an eyewear division, and we started an activewear division and a sleepwear division. And it's been so fun launching all of these new categories and really focusing on building the brand, elevating the look and feel, elevating the look of the website, elevating the product, and making sure that we've got A+ talent inside our building, and just building the brand and hoping to really take it to where anyone who looks at it feels like it's a full 360 lifestyle brand.
Yeah. And I saw pictures on your Instagram of the office space and it looks gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
Did you have a hand in design?
Yeah. So in 2019, the first thing they said to me is, hey, find yourself a building that you want to go to every day. And man, that was just really smart of them, of John and Greg. And I hope that I can do that for someone someday in the future. But what an amazing opportunity to be able to find a spot that truly I want to come to every day. So I found this building. We're right behind Vans in Costa Mesa.
Oh, very
across
cool.
from SoCo. Great location. It's one of the Segerstrom buildings, and we love we love them. We love being a part of their buildings. But I was able to remodel a 30,000 square feet building, and I had never done that before. So that was a great first time experience to work with the architect and the contractors and demo this building. It was originally the old Mary Kay building from the 80s.
What?
So, yeah. So it had super low ceilings and brown carpet everywhere. And we came in and I was able to just make it a shell and then figure out how to put the pieces back together. So built a really large photo studio, which is my favorite room in the whole building. So we do all of our photo shoots here in the building. And I was able to just curate a nice aesthetic. I wanted it to be something really clean and airy, something that people felt like they had space to breathe. And I always tell my employees, we're doing it differently here. You don't have to come into a clothing company and find like heaps of clothes and messy rolling racks. I'm like, we're going to do it differently. We're going to have it organized and tidy so that you guys feel like you've got room to be creative. So that's what we've done. And I've partnered with Dana Dartez. She has the Good Together store in Laguna Beach. And strangely enough, she was one of my first creative directors at Roxy. And now she's gotten into the home goods. And so I partnered with her, and she's helped me do a lot of the styling and the furniture and the decor. And yeah, super fun getting to work with her. And we've been able to build all these really fun office spaces and decorate. So
I love that you've stayed so close with all the people that you've worked with throughout your career.
Yes, my creative director here, she's been with me for 20 years. My design director, more years than that. And I feel very grateful. I feel very grateful for the women in my life that surround me, and we're able to support each other. And I love seeing them grow in their careers. I love giving them opportunity. That's probably my favorite thing to do in my entire career, is to give others opportunity and to see them flourish. So I appreciate those who have stuck by my side.
Wow. And speaking of women, I noticed that you guys do something for every International Women's Day, and there's like always a charitable aspect to it. Do you mind sharing a bit about that?
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I started Z Supply Foundation, which was one of the best days to be able to get that yes. I tell Greg and John, I just really appreciate the fact that in our partnership, the doors just continue to open. Not maybe at the time, it's always about timing, but the Z Supply Foundation was one of those things I dreamed of for the brand. I think a part of building a brand is building a heart to it. And the Supply Foundation was going to be the heart for me. So we launched it 2 years ago, and we do a couple of things. One is we take funds to give back to colleges, to students, and supply scholarship funding for students who are wanting to get into the creative space. So we work with Parsons in New York, SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, Otis here in LA, CCA in San Francisco, Long Beach, just up the road, and we supply scholarships. So we've given about 35 scholarships to date, with a lot more coming this year. And we're giving it to guys and girls who are wanting to pursue degrees in the creative space. So whether they're photographers or designers, graphic artists, even ceramists, we've got a pretty diverse group. And just kind of coming from my experience, and it was hard to get through school. It's hard to afford it. It's hard to convince your parents that the creative field is where you should go. Right. Sometimes it's hard to get that across the line. So being able to pay it forward and support students who are getting into the creative field hoping that one day they can work on it.
Oh, wow.
We're building out our internship program and our mentorship program. So aside from that, we do a lot of local give backs, and International Women's Day was a part of that as well. We featured our whole design and merchandising team and story told on them. And then we partner with local organizations who are doing all kinds of things to support women. So one of them is Miracles for Kids. And Miracles for Kids is started by this woman named Autumn. She started it 20 years ago, and she comes in and supports family who have terminally ill children. So they maybe have put all their time and effort and funds into helping their child survive. So they've often lost their jobs, lost their homes, lost their cars. So she comes in and swoops them up and says, let me make sure you've got housing, car, and food on the table. Wow. And so we've had a lot of fun partnering with her. And yesterday we invited 15 women to come into our building yesterday that are moms. A couple of them said they hadn't left the hospital in the last 45, 60 days. It was their first week out. And we just spoiled them. We set up a boutique where they could come shop. We gave them makeovers. We Zeppelin donated jewelry so they could pick out their jewelry. Matisse donated shoes. They got to pick out new shoes. And then we did a flower bouquet. They got to make their own flower bouquets. So just things like that. We work with a lot of like OC Rescue Mission. We work with a lot of local organizations where we feel like we can really make a difference, specifically in women's lives, since we're a women's clothing brand, in any little way that we can. It goes a long way. So having a lot of fun. We've got a board of directors here for Z Supply Foundation. I've got a foundation committee, and we all work on who we're going to work with next and what school we're going to work with next. And that's one piece of our educational side of the foundation. And then our nonprofit side where who's in need, who can we help, and what can we do next? And I think the team loves it. Every time we have a company meeting, I tell them, my goal is to help you guys be a part of a company that's more than just a clothing company. We want to be a company that with our success, we're able to pay it forward and do better for those around us. So.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. Sounds like such an amazing foundation.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun. There's more on our website under the foundation piece you can read about.
Awesome. So to circle back a bit to Warm Collective, can you share a little bit with listeners who don't know what it is? And also you mentioned there's a collaboration coming out.
Yes. Warm Collective started by my friend Serena, and she wanted to start a collective of women who are all like-minded and who love the water. So she's got multiple sides to her business, but she focuses on the agency side where she's doing graphic work, photography, working on emailers and websites. So it's pretty diverse. She's got a really talented team over there. And then she's got a collective group of women who come together and they teach other like-minded photographers how to do water photography.
Oh, what? That's so cool.
And then she just started something it's really cool, and I want to be a part of it, is a collective that you can be a part of monthly and hop online with a group of creatives, and you can learn all kinds of different things. So they're kind of like a masterclass program where they're coming on and teaching you all kinds of things about creative services, and you can take classes with them. And I don't know, I think Serena's just done an amazing job of gathering a like-minded group of creatives who are paving the path in the creative field. And we decided to come together and do a collection of eyewear, sunglasses.
Ooh.
And swimsuits. Z Supply's first time doing swim. So we're launching that. We're launching that in May, and it'll be fun. We just shot it in Tahiti, and the images are beautiful. Serena shot it, and I think our followers are going to love it. I know her followers are going to love it.
Yeah. Oh my God, how exciting. That's so cool. You got to bring both of those things together.
Yeah. I mean, what better than working with your friends, right?
Yeah, right.
Collaborate and work together.
Awesome. Well, we're coming towards the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. Yeah. So what was the best advice that you received when you were first starting out that you still follow today?
So there's so much. Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah.
I think surround yourself with people that are as good as you, if not better. Surround yourself with people who really push you and motivate you to be the best version of yourself. I was given that advice early on in my 20s at my first job, and that really stuck with me. And I saw how this woman always had such a wonderful group around her that supported her and really believed that supporting her also meant supporting themselves and supporting the brand. And I appreciated that she could gather a group of people around her that weren't selfishly thinking, they were thinking as a group. And I really, that made a lasting impact on me. And I've really tried to take that in as much as I can and mentor those girls around me and build those women up. I say women because mostly I'm surrounded by women, although we do have amazing males here. But yeah, I think just that was probably my best piece of advice that I've stuck with to today is just surrounding yourself with people who are as strong, if not better, and never being intimidated by them, being okay and being humble enough to have people on your team who are, way better designers or way better creative directors, whatever it is. You have your place in leadership. And as long as you're confident in that, I think surrounding yourself with amazing talent is the best thing you can do for your own career.
Definitely. And then what have you learned in terms of how to navigate challenges as an entrepreneur?
Stay calm, because this moment will only last, and what goes up must come down, and what's down will always go back up. So I think there was times where I was still learning and very young and naive in my thinking, where I would quickly react or quickly get stressed or anxiety ridden or overwhelmed, whatever the feeling was. I've really learned over my years, and I think it takes a little bit of age to figure that out. just to stay calm and realize that it's all going to get done. It's overwhelming to start a brand. It's overwhelming to have a brand. It's overwhelming to build a brand. But you put one foot in front of the other. You stay calm. You stay calm for those around you, and you don't let yourself get overridden with emotion or anxiety or stress, and it's always going to work out. So
yeah, I need to take a note of that out of that book and learn how to do that. What is one habit or routine that you feel helped you succeed in your career?
Finding, I don't know if you'll ever find a balance between family and work life, but I definitely have figured out how to mix the two. And I think a lot of women in business struggle with, how do you balance? How do you keep your business life going and your personal life going? And for me, I love what I do so much. It is who I am. It's what I do. It's what's inside of me, that I've decided that it's not one or the other. They're not two different things. It's all one. So my husband's very involved with our business. My kids come to the building quite a bit. I travel the world on shopping trips for research and development, and my husband and my kids come with me. So I think finding ways to mix my personal life with my business life and not see it as two different things, and realizing that there'll never be a balance. It's more of a juggle. And,
Oh, I love that. It's not a balance, it's a juggle. That's such good advice. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. It was so fun getting to learn about your story.
Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea. It's great talking with you. Great questions.
Thank you.